Hey everyone, it's TK from Red Lotus Films, and today I'm going to be talking about how I film bride prep at Hindu Tamil weddings. Under Red Lotus, I've been filming weddings for about 6 years now, and I feel like there's so many layers into filming Tamil Hindu weddings. The bride is the star of the show, and you want to film her perfectly on her wedding day, and without knowing what you're doing when you walk in, it could be chaotic. And today I'm going to be guiding you guys on how to overcome that and film bride prep as perfectly as possible. When we first enter the bride's house, 80% of the time she's not ready yet. And so we take that time to usually just go around the house and capture the decor, capture the house. Sometimes there's setups there, so we just get as much detail as possible before we go and see the bride. Once the bride does get ready, the first thing that we do is go into a room and look for lighting. I always look for natural light. Lighting is the most crucial thing, I feel like, in filmmaking. It makes or breaks a video. Outside of the emotion and storytelling, the look of the video comes from the light. And we try to utilize natural light windows as much as possible. But in most situations, especially in the Tamil weddings, we don't have that because the prep start time is at around 5 to 6 a.m. Sometimes as early as 1 a.m. And in those situations, we bring in our own lights. I own a aperture 600D, an aperture 300D, and a 60X. So depending on the room size and the situation we're in, we use those lights to help us with the lighting. After figuring out lighting, we get into shooting the bride, and we don't start off by shooting the bride right away. We got to ease her into it. Brides are not actresses, and they're not going to be the best in front of the camera in most situations. So it's on us to make them feel comfortable in front of the camera. One of the biggest tips I can tell you guys is just to be goofy and fun to work with. I always try to crack jokes and create an environment that's not so awkward. This helps the bride get comfortable to be herself, and it also helps in getting natural emotions out of her. I'm gonna say one joke and you guys are gonna laugh at it, okay? What do you call a funny moose? Moose party. Me personally, I film with a Sony a7S III, shooting the S-Log 3, and I use a 24-70 Sigma lens. I feel like everyone should learn how to shoot and log and grade their footage properly, just because of the fact that it allows you to capture so much extra details in your shots, and it gives you so much control of your image in post. I find that one of the most enjoyable experiences in the editing process for me is getting creative with the colors of the image in post. When it comes to Tamil weddings, there's a lot of things that we have to make sure we capture before we leave to the hall. We're not running on our time, we're running on Auspicious time. There's a time that she has to be at the hall, there's a time that she has to do her second entrance, there's a time she has to tie the thali. It's something called Nalla Nerams in our culture. It's just auspicious time. So we're running on that. So there's a couple things that we have to capture before we head out the house. That's why typically I always try to get my bride to give us 2 hours after the makeup is done for us to get our shots. This would give us enough time to get portraits of her, portraits with her parents, her siblings, her pets, and also her bridesmaids. In some cases we have 2 bridesmaids, and in some cases we have 20. So depending on the room and the space that we have, we either film inside the house or we take them outside, do a little reveal with the bride, and just get some fun moments with them. Capturing cute and intimate moments with the bride alone is tough once you get to the venue. So it's important we take the time we have at the house to get as much candid moments with everyone as we can. Then we move on to the next thing, which would be getting the prayer shots with the parents. Right before the bride leaves the house, they usually pray and get the blessings from her parents. So it's our job to capture that as cinematic as possible, but also capturing that moment. Another thing that happens quite often on the morning of is the groom sends out a cute gift and a card to the bride's house. So we definitely make the time to capture this as well. That's because in most cases, this is where you see a lot of emotion coming from the bride. The last thing that we do is the velakus in the front. The velaku means the lamps in the front that you see when you walk in. We usually get someone in their family to come and light it. And in most cases, from my experience, it's her parents that come and light the lamp. Right after that's done, we have her exit. I personally like to get exit shots of the bride when she's leaving her house. I feel like that's a good moment to capture as she's leaving her house for the last time before getting married. So I get that shot and then I run to the hall. Being creative. The same thing happens typically for every wedding. So the idea of being creative and doing something different every single time is always a challenge. And I find it an exciting challenge because it allows me to push my creativity to its limits. As challenging as those things can be, when you look back at the footage and you see the stuff that you captured, it's one of the most satisfying things that you can think of. Overshooting was one of the biggest flaws I had. I still like to shoot a lot, but with purpose, right? You don't want to go in there and get a bunch of footage that you don't need. You want to have an idea of what you're going to be filming, how you're going to be capturing it, and getting it and moving out of the way. Because as I said before, you're not working on our time, is the auspicious time, right? And you also got to remember you're splitting that time with the photographer. So you want to give them as much space as you can while capturing as much as you can for yourself. I feel like everyone is looking for that perfect shot, and they miss the essence of bride prep, which is capturing the day, right? Capturing her feelings, capturing her emotions, capturing the people around her. So yeah, instead of looking for that perfect shot, being like, hey, yo, do this again. And mind you, I still do this, don't get me wrong. But I realized all that did was take away my time, the photographer's time. And at the end, we'd be rushing to get to the hall and we'll miss out on moments that we could have captured. I hope this guide helps you guys prepare for your next bride prep. If you guys have any more questions that you want me to answer, please leave them in the comments below as well. And as always, like, follow, subscribe, and till next time, guys.